Welcome to Aging in Style with me, Lori Williams. I'm an optimist by nature, and I believe you can follow your dreams at any age. My grandmother's journey with dementia ignited a passion in me to work with seniors. I've spent the past 13 years learning about seniors and aging. In my mid-50s, I followed my own dream and founded my company, where I use my expertise to help seniors locate housing and resources. On this podcast, we cover all aspects of aging. Join us each week to meet senior living experts and inspirational seniors who are following their dreams. The fact is, we're all aging, so why not do it in style? Hi, welcome to Aging in Style with Lori Williams. I'm so glad you're here today, and I have a really fun show. We are going to be talking with Shaneka Baylor with Chefs for Seniors. And if you haven't heard of Chefs for Seniors, I think you're going to be really blown away by this concept. I think it's, when I first heard about it, I thought, this is brilliant. Why didn't someone think of this before? So we're going to get started, and let me just introduce you to Shaneka first, and then we'll dive in and she can tell you all about Chefs for Seniors and how it works. So Dr. Shaneka Baylor is a board-certified geriatric and ambulatory care clinical pharmacist, as well as a certified diabetes educator. She received her Bachelor of Science in biology from Dillard University and her Doctor of Pharmacy degree from the College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences at Texas Southern University. She also completed her postgraduate pharmacy practice residency in public health at the University of Missouri, Kansas City, in conjunction with the Kansas City Free Health Clinic. Healthy eating can be tasty is the motto that Dr. Baylor believes in, and this belief, as well as a desire to serve the senior community, led her to become a franchise owner of Chefs for Seniors. Arlington, Prairie is the area she's in. It's an in-home meal preparation service that focuses on creating delicious, healthy, nutritious meals that can be customized to address specific dietary concerns. She's also the founder and CEO of Divine Hands Health and Wellness, LLC, where she focuses on the total person, providing medication assessments and counseling for clients, as well as providing them with nutrition counseling that is based upon their medications and the health goals they want to meet. So welcome. I'm so glad you're on the show. So tell us, let's just jump into it. Tell us all about what led you to make a career change, because you started as a pharmacist, and led you to working with seniors and helping them with healthy, nutritious meals.
Well, thank you so much for having me today, Lori. Yes, so I've been a pharmacist 12 years now. Time goes by so fast.
Yes.
And the last 6 years that I was working as a clinical pharmacist, a large part of my population were seniors. And so, with my day-to-day, especially having a lot of seniors that had diabetes or high blood pressure, they had heart conditions or COPD or asthma, I just really realized that a lot of the things that were going on were food related. Sometimes, it's not being able to afford the right things. Sometimes it's not being able to cook the right things. Sometimes it's just not knowing, or, if you were diagnosed with something 20 or 30 years ago, the conversation that your doctor or your pharmacist would have had with you then is different than the conversation that, we would have with you now about the total thing, not just the medications, but changing your diet and your lifestyle. So, that was a big part of it. But then I also had my own health journey where, I had gained about 35, 40 pounds, and I was just really working to be healthier myself. So as I started getting healthier, I got more into food and, cooking healthy and finding the ways to cook healthy for me. And a lot of my coworkers noticed it, and so did my patients. So because, obviously you're living that day-to-day life and people see the physical change that you're doing also. So I was just looking for how I could really tie my love for seniors, my love for food, and all of those things together. And like I said, healthy eating can be can be tasty, but a lot of people think, oh, if it's healthy, it's not going to be good. So my mom actually had a friend that was using Chefs for Seniors in the Houston area. And when I found out about it, I was like, oh my gosh, let me look into this. And, I met with the franchisors and we were just both on the same page. And, I took the big leap in November and left my job to pursue this full time because I really believe in it.
Yeah, I can hear the passion in your voice. And when we've talked before, I can tell this is what you are meant to be doing. So Chefs for Seniors is a franchise. I just heard about it probably around November. When did it start? Is it fairly new?
So they actually started the company in 2014. And the original franchisors, he's been a chef for, 30 years or somewhat like that, and was looking to get out of the restaurant business, but noted that a lot of his everyday regulars were seniors, and that the good meal that they got every day was when they were coming into his restaurant. But the other part, that's also really important and we'll touch on later, was the companionship part. Because at the time, his mother-in-law, I believe, was ill. And so they were trying to figure out how they could take care of her so she could age in place, not have to go to, a senior living facility, because sometimes those are expensive, and be able to provide the proper nutrition. And so Chefs for Seniors was born out of those two things from them.
And I said earlier, I think it's brilliant because the two main reasons seniors end up needing to move to senior living, or that we see a decline, is because they're not eating properly, not getting good nutrition, and that they're lonely. So Chefs for Seniors, the way it works, it addresses both of those needs. So tell us how the program works.
So it's a very simple concept. You can either find us on, some people Google us. We connect with senior service advisors, or we, also connect with discharge planners and things like that, so they know that the services are available. We're on Facebook also. And then, they'll contact us. We'll go in their home and do a consultation, kind of find out what it is they're looking for. Or sometimes children of the parents, that are looking for something for their mom or dad will contact us also. And then we'll go in, do an in-home assessment, make sure the kitchen is viable so that we can cook in the kitchen. And then, discuss the options with them, what it is they're looking for. We offer a couple of different options. We have a standard service, which is 5 weeks of rotating meals, and there's 12 options on each of those. And they can select 4 menu items from there. And then we can obviously make a few, changes. So if they don't like green beans, we can do broccoli, or if they don't want ground beef, we can do ground turkey, or, simple swaps like that. But all of the food items are listed so that or labeled so that they know if they're dairy free or diabetic friendly, or, low cholesterol or dairy free, things like that. And then we'll come in after that. We go grocery shopping each week before we come in and do the service for them, so they don't have to worry about the groceries. And then we come in with we call it our toolkit, but it's our pots and pans. So they don't have to worry about us using, their pots and pans or anything like that. And we come in and we cook for them. And so, the service takes about 2 to 2.5 hours, depending on what they're selecting. Pre-COVID, the idea was really that they would come and, sit around, and we would have conversation while the chef is cooking. And then we would, when all the foods are cooking, we'll talk about the next week's meal plans, finish up, package all of the food, label all the food, give them the reheating instructions, clean up, and then come the next week. And then we also have a bit of a more custom service. So if they have more health issues, or they just don't like what's on the standard menus, then we can do more of a custom meal plan for them too.
Great. So if they're picky, you can address that. So, I would personally love for someone to come to my house maybe Sunday morning and say, Lori, let's make a plan for the week. And then I'm going to go grocery shop, and then I'm going to come to your house, and I'm going to cook it all with my stuff and clean it up and leave. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and that was kind of the thing, because, like you touched on earlier, one of the things about seniors, especially, or maybe, you've just gotten out of the hospital. So for the first 3 or 4 months when you're rehabbing, you can't stand up like you would before, or you're just not physically able right now. So we can come in so you don't have to worry about that. So,
yeah.
You don't have to go to a skilled nursing facility or something like that, because the only thing that you can still have in-home rehab. Now you have somebody to cook the food for you too, so you don't have anything to worry about.
That's nice. So it could be, just a short-term solution if you are having surgery or you broke your hip or something like that. So as you recover, or it could be long-term.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so you typically do 4 meals, or is it up to the person how many meals they want for the week?
So no, it's typically 4 meals because that way we're making sure they have a week's worth of meals. And then, every week we're following up with them. How did you like it last week? Is there any changes? Was the portion, especially in the beginning, was the portion too big? Was the portion too small? So, as we're shopping each week, because we really just shop enough groceries for what we're making for the week. Because again, with seniors, that they don't want a lot of extra foods in their refrigerator or in their pantry. So, we're also trying to make sure that we're not leaving a lot of excess. So it's just enough for what we're cooking. So if it is, a little bit too much, then we know, okay, maybe we only need to get this 12 pound piece of pork loin instead of 16 ounce, things like that. So we make those little adjustments as we're going. Then a lot of the meals are freezer safe too. So if somebody still wants to cook a little bit, they have the option to say, why don't you come every other week? And then that way, we're rotating. So they'll put a few of the meals in the freezer and we'll let them know which ones are freezer friendly. And that way they can just rotate in and out.
That's a great idea. I like that. What are some of their favorite meals?
So meatloaf.
Of course.
Meatloaf, yes. We make a chicken pot pie. So I have people that really like that. And then a couple of the quiches that we make, like there's a salmon and leek quiche. So they really like that too. And then if they have some recipes that they, used to make and just can't make it anymore, we'll make those for them too, so that they can have their old favorites that still, make them remember something that they used to really love.
Oh, that's really nice. So it's very much a custom plan that you can do for them.
Yes. And if they want, especially for those that really have more dietary issues, they can connect us with, if they have a dietitian or, with their physician, and we can connect with them and, really work out a plan also to make sure they're getting the right meals that they need.
Mm-hmm. Great. So now we touched on it when you were telling us about how it all works, but COVID, of course, has changed some things, because normally, like you said, you would be able to sit and visit and kind of have that, take care of that loneliness piece. So how has COVID changed things? How are you having to do the business now? I guess they have to be in the other room, or can they be there with you?
So we wear our mask at all times when we're cooking. So for that 2.5 hours that we're in the home, we are wearing our mask. We wipe down the counters before and after to make sure, and the handles on the doors and things that we've touched, to make sure that we're sanitizing it. We do ask that they go in another room, especially if they have, secondary health issues that could really make them more susceptible. But for those who don't, we're just asking that they stay at least 6 feet away. So if the kitchen is large enough that they can be in the dining area while we're cooking, then they can still sit in there. And we'll ask them to wear a mask also, just for them. But we are always masked.
Very good. And I was looking on your website about how it's paid for. So it's private pay, but I did see that there are some occasions where long-term care insurance might pay for it, as well as some Medicare Advantage plans. So tell us a little bit about that.
That's correct. So a lot of times when either the client or the child, is reaching out and they will ask, I'll tell them that they just need to contact, if they have long-term care, they would just need to contact them and ask them. And a lot of times long-term care will reimburse them. So the client still might have to pay up front, but then the long-term care will reimburse them. And the same with Medicare Advantage. It's a little bit more common with the long-term care right now. But in the midst of this COVID and everything else, I'm hoping that Medicare Advantage sees the benefit of this, because, anybody that's in health like that, that nutrition is one of the cornerstones of helping people be healthy. And especially with the more that they're eating properly, the quicker they can recover, they're getting their protein needs. So all of those things help to keep them healthier and keep them out of the hospital.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would think, especially now with COVID, that this is such a great plan for people. So, because we really don't want our seniors going out to the grocery store, being around more and more people where they could get sick. It's such a nice benefit to have you do their grocery shopping and come in and cook, and they're not having to go out.
Yep, just that one point of contact. And, we temperature check ourselves too. So obviously, if we're not feeling well, we're not going to go in. And then, of course, we ask them if they're not feeling well to let us know so that we go, to their house and then bring something either to our family or to another one of our clients. So, yeah, I think it's important. And, we're getting into what's going to be cough and cold season.
Yep.
So, you add that on top of COVID and the unknowns. I just think for our seniors, it gives them the opportunity because, hey, you could still order some groceries, but if you can't physically cook them or anything else, then you're still kind of stuck.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's also, I think seniors, a lot of them are having to learn during COVID, to use these services like, Uber Eats or the grocery store apps to have food delivered. But a lot of seniors still don't know how to use that. And, it can be confusing for them. So, I think that's such a great benefit. They don't have to try and figure out how to use an app to get groceries,
And that part. And then if they're ordering the food, how healthy is the food that they're really
ordering?
True. When I come into your kitchen, that you're getting all the good, wholesome ingredients cooked just right to your specifications. So we're really making sure that you get healthy stuff, not fast food or maybe extra, greasy things or things like that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Now, I know that you've always worked with seniors as a pharmacist too. So I like to ask people, is there one person that you've come across in your life, either, working or someone from your family, someone who's just been a very inspirational senior to you?
I would say my grandmother. She just had her birthday last week. She turned 94.
Wow.
As a kid, when my mom worked, I would stay with my grandmother, and she was like a patient. Now it would be a patient care, advocate, but she would take her patients to the doctor and things like that. And she would take me with her. And I just always loved how she cared for other people and would watch her in the kitchen cooking for us on holidays and things like that. So she's always been one of my inspirations.
It's so funny to me, and I've mentioned this on other podcasts, that so many people, their inspiration is their grandmother. Mine's my grandmother too. So I think that's go grandmas,
And realize it sometimes, until you look back over your life and, you see some of the things that they did, because you don't think of them as seniors when you're little,
Just grandma. Yeah.
But yeah, she's always been an inspiration for me.
That's wonderful. So now, if someone wanted to reach you, so you cover the Arlington, Grand Prairie, that's your franchise area. So if someone wanted to contact you, how would they go about doing that?
So also add Mansfield to the area.
Oh, good.
But we do Mansfield. But they could go to our website, so chefsforseniors.com. If they scroll down, they can find us in the Texas area. The website is really long, so I don't want
We'll put it on the podcast too. We'll have the link.
Easier to do that. They can email me, and so that's going to be shaneka.baylor@chefsforseniors.com. Or, they can find us on Facebook. Chefs for Seniors Arlington Grand Prairie is on Facebook, and they can send me a message there, or they can Google us and they can email me or message me from Google also. Okay,
perfect. And like I said, we'll put the links and everything on the podcast so that people can find you, because I think it's such a valuable service. With the franchise, are y'all in every state now, or do you know?
Not quite yet, but hopefully, I know we just 3 new franchises, I believe, just finally started. COVID, had slowed them down and they weren't trained. So they're finally opening up theirs. So I believe we're up to 50 franchises, but not in all 50 states just yet. But, in a lot of the big states, so Florida, Texas, California, DC, Maryland area, Virginia. So we do have quite a reach thus far.
Yeah. And I really believe this is going to be something that grows.
Yes.
Like crazy. Because
as people continue to age and, life continues to change and people are looking for other opportunities to stay home. And, now COVID really has people deciding they want to live at home for a lot of different reasons.
Exactly. And, when we say home, just so people think about this, it's not just, their house that they live in, but they could be in a senior apartment and you can still come in and do meals for them.
Is absolutely correct. If they're in a senior apartment that has, a working kitchen, we absolutely can come and cook in there as well.
Yeah, that's great. So many good options. Well, thank you so much for joining in and sharing all this great information. When I first heard about this, and then I saw you on, I think, Facebook or something. I saw you somewhere and I'm like, oh, I have to have her on the show to talk about this.
Yes, no, it's amazing. And I'm so glad to be able to talk about it because, like you said, nutrition and health and seniors are all part of my passion and my purpose. I really believe in it, and I would talk about it all day if I could.
I love it. And I'm so glad you found your purpose. And it's just with your background, it's so perfect. So thank you again. I really appreciate you being on. And again, listen to us next week. We'll have another show, but if you have any questions, want to reach out to Shaneka, I'll have all her information. And if you like the show, give us a good rating on the podcast. And if you have any other ideas for shows that you'd like to see, please just send me a message. We're open to sharing information and educating on all different topics. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.